Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the Yakima RidgeBack hanging style bike rack right here on our 2018 Nissan Pathfinder. So the Yakima RidgeBack is great for if you want to carry a lot of bikes. That's because you can get either a 4 or a 5 bike version. It doesn't have your more modern premium features that some of your newer bike racks have, but it still has some cool things like the Yakima ZipStrips and these nice comfortable cushions. So we're going to take a look at some of those features, but we'll focus on how they work with your Nissan Pathfinder so you can see if this is going to be the right fit for you, your bicycles, and your vehicle. So first we'll take a look at the way our bike is mounted to this bike rack. We have 1, 2, and 3 mounting points. So notice that third one. That's going to be what helps prevent sway between your bikes. So notice the sway now. And then when I take this zip strip out and then I push this up so it makes no contact, we have a lot more sway. So that's going to be helpful, especially once you get the 5 bike version. You don't want 5 bikes swaying into each other on the road. So you're going to press these buttons and just pull that zip strip out. Press the button, pull it out. That's why they're called zip strips. It's so much faster that way and easier compared to other bike racks that use that rubber strap you have to pull. But once those are out of the way, you just grab the bike, lift it up and through, and then you are ready to go on a bike ride. So notice how those cradles are shaped, the ones that the bike was on just now. So you see those little cushions on top, as well as those little grooves for your brake lines. That's going to be something you'll see with your different Yakima bike racks, just to make it a little bit more comfortable so that you're not scuffing and scratching your bike's frame. You have that same cushion on the top of your zip strip. So this secures your bike by the frame, nice, quickly, and easily. All right, so 1, 2, and let's do our third. By the way, I highly recommend switching those zip strips around as you can. Kind of like how you rotate your tires. It's you can rotate your zip strips too, just so that they have an equal amount of wear and tear. But anyways, so notice how far apart these cradles are. We're going to have a distance of about 5.5 inches apart. So not as much as the Yakima back road. Pretty decent length though, and because they're not that far apart from each other, you don't have as long of a bike rack as the Yakima back road. So we'll take some measurements there. I'm going to measure from the bumper of our Pathfinder to the end of the bike rack by this bottle cap, and it sits at about 41, maybe 42 inches of length. The 5 bike version will have about 5.5 inches added to that. So it's a lot of length behind your vehicle. Definitely something to keep in mind. Whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a really, really tight spot, don't forget that you have a bike rack as well as bikes behind you. But if you do want to cut down on that length, once your bikes are off, you can actually fold these arms down. So pull that lever on top, then drop these arms down. You may have to move these cradles. There we go. And then suddenly it's a lot shorter. So closest point is a lot of clearance from the bumper to the mast, about 7 inches. See that tab over there? This is where you can add the locking mechanism to your bike rack. That fits right there. Then the length now added to the back of our vehicle is going to be from the bumper to where those cradle straps are, about 16 inches. So big difference compared to when those arms were folded down. You'll definitely want it in this position when you're just planning on driving around town. You don't want to take your bike rack off just yet. But you also don't want to take too much space behind you. Now what if you want to access your hatch? Well, there's another feature. That's going to be the tilt away feature. So you pull this lever here. That drops down to an impressively deep tilt compared to some other hanging racks. And then you can now open the door. So see how much space you have between the door and your mast? You can now get into your trunk, grab your bags, grab your helmets, grab your waters. The downside is you also have to take your bikes off, so it's going to take a little bit of extra time compared to a platform rack, which tilts away with the bikes on. Now you just bring this back up and it snaps into place. You're ready to hit the road again. Now, what is it like living with a bike rack behind you though? With this in the upright position, notice how it doesn't really go up above your rear windshield wiper, which means you can still see out of your rear windshield or your rear mirror. You also have the taillights, obviously very visible since it's a small hanging rack. Now, it does cover your backup camera and your license plate though. You have a pretty good distance behind there, so you will be able to see to the sides, but not straight on. So that's something to think about. Pretty much any hanging rack is going to cover that view though. As for the shank, this has an 1.25 inch shank with a 2-inch included hitch adapter. So we have a 2-inch hitch receiver on our Pathfinder, so we kept that adapter on. This just pops into place. We have what's basically a security pin over here, and then what's really doing the work is gonna be this locking speed knob. So this tightens down like that, and it extends a wedge inside of your hitch receiver, creating an anti-rattle effect. So once you do have that tightened down, let's do a little shake test. As I shake our bike rack, just to kind of simulate that road movement, notice how that car is really moving because it's a nice and secure fit. I know some people don't like seeing the 1.25 inch shank with a 2-inch hitch adapter because they think there will be more movement, but as you saw, there wasn't. So my personal thoughts about the Yakima RidgeBack is, if you can, go ahead and get the 5-bike version. It's only going to be about 5 inches longer than this one, and then you'll be able to maximize your bike rack even if you're not carrying that many bikes at one time. It's nice to have that option. But remember, you do have a maximum weight capacity of 150 pounds total, whether you have the 4 or the 5-bike version. The good news though is a single bike weight capacity is going to be 40 pounds. So maybe one bike is 40 pounds, the rest are lighter. As long as you do not exceed 150 pounds total, you'll be good. If you want a little bit more comfort, you might want to consider the Yakima Backroad. That's going to be longer, less likely to have your bike sway into each other, but then it does take up more space. If you want something a little bit more affordable, but still has that 5-bike capacity, the Kurt Premium Bike Rack would be a really good option for you. That one is shaped, in fact, to carry those smaller children's bikes easily, even easier than this one. This one, though, still has those premium features like those ZipStrips and those cushions and the lock on that speed knob. So hopefully this video helped you out. You guys saw the pros, you saw the cons of the Yakima RidgeBack, but you could see also whether it could fit your bikes or not on your Nissan Pathfinder. So this was a look at the Yakima RidgeBack hanging style bike rack on our 2018 Nissan Pathfinder.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. And finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.